So this is an interesting article on Ayurveda and yoga and herbal remedies from a website called AyurvedicTalk.com. And, Ayurveda and Vedic astrology, of course, are very closely related. They're, as we all often hear, sister sciences. And what we would understand with the hypertension as it relates to astrology really comes from the fiery planets and those excessively motivated energies that tend to not have a balancing point. So, it's really a classic what's called pitta or fire dosha aggravation, and it comes from excess with Mars and the Sun and even the South Node afflictions if they're, very prominent in our birth chart and in a place where they're influencing, and especially if they're influencing and affecting other energies that help us calm down and rejuvenate, like Venus and the Moon. So when you get, for instance, Mars-Moon influence, it can lead to high pitta because the Moon is actually a kapha planet, which helps us slow down and rejuvenate. And if Mars is there, it tends to aggravate. The influence of fire on the water, on the watery kapha planets, produces anxiety, and it actually can also produce vata, which is airy qualities, because it creates stress as well. And obviously I'm not an Ayurvedic practitioner. I'm talking about the astrological influences, and an Ayurvedic practitioner would be able to see whether it's a hypertension or an aggravation due to pitta, which is usually what the hypertension would be, or if the influence of the fire is causing what's called vata disorders, which have to do with nervousness, anxiety, and stress. I think they're very related, hypertension in the sense of high blood pressure, which is really what hypertension is really called now. Or, I mean, that's what high blood pressure is often called now, is hypertension. And even in the article it says hypertension is the doorway to various other ailments. Persistent hypertension could be a main cause for heart disease, brain hemorrhage, stroke, kidney disease. And, there's a lot of symptoms that show things that have to do more with heat, like high blood pressure, headaches, breathing difficulties, short temper, excessive thirst, urination problems. And then it also says giddiness and insomnia, which tend to be vata problems. So there's a tendency to just be lacking in kapha, however you want to look at it. Kapha is the rejuvenative, restorative, relaxing quality of life. We're very driven and we're very motivated in this day and age, which is a lot of fire driving activity. Activity is vata, or motion, and fire is direction and heat, which pushes things toward a lot of activity and stimulation. So, that's obviously something in our world that we need to be careful of. And it's a very good article here, Ayurvedic treatment options for hypertension. A lot of them at this article are related to, self-treatment, things that you can do yourself to, combat hypertension with home remedies. And I'm also just giving a kind of a sort of Vedic astrology perspective on it. If you know your astrology chart, the influence of Mars, like on the Moon, on Venus, Mars in the first house, if the Moon is combust and dark or other types of things, this can lead to that sort of nature. But I think hypertension and the symptoms that result are mainly fiery. So if you're very strong, motivated, fiery pitta type of person, you have to be careful, and you want to look at this article and maybe do some of the home remedies and just sort of reflect and remember these principles. So let me know what you think about this article and this subject about Ayurveda, pitta dosha, these qualities in the astrology chart. Leave me a message, let people know what you think, and start a nice conversation about it and help each other with this situation.